Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with the practice tip of the day. This one is for the intermediate player, and today I want to continue our discussion on adding different combinations of coloration notes to our plain chords, our major chords, and getting different voices out of them. We're taking our coloration notes, we're using our seconds, fourths, and sixths, and we're throwing in, instead of just throwing one in there as a coloration note, we're putting two in there into our chords. And we've done videos on our G chord and our C chord. Today I want to work on a D chord. Sounds a little something like this. Okay, so all of those chords except for the last one and the first one, which I resolved to the last one, started on the major, the D major. All those were just different chords with a combination of those notes. All right, so let's do a little theory. Our D chord, any major chord, is the first note, third note, fifth note of the major scale of its root note. So for a D chord, our D triad is a D note, which is the first note of that scale, an F sharp note, which is the third, and an A note, which is the fifth. And our coloration notes, seconds, fourths, and sixths, the second note that corresponds to degrees of that scale. So the second note is going to be an E, the fourth is going to be a G, and the sixth is going to be a B. And the second also, I'm going to cover this in a different video if you don't, just so I won't confuse you. The seconds, fourths, and sixths correspond to the same notes as ninths, elevenths, and thirteenths in the next octave. The E note ninth is also the E note second. We're not going to worry too much about, when you have the higher number in there, you usually put it higher in the chord. We're not going to worry about that, designation right now. We're just wherever we put our E chord or E note, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. We're not going to think about whether it's a ninth or a second. We're just going to put them in there as E and G and B. All right, so let's take a look at some of the places we can do it. All right, so let's take a look where we can put, and these are not going to be all the combinations, these are just, some that I like. So let's take our D chord, and I'm sure you already know the D suspended 4, and probably D suspended 2nd. So, but if we put them both in there, I can put my G, I can pick this first finger up off my regular D chord, that gives me a G, that's my 4th. I can also pick this second finger off the first string, and that gives me my E. So this chord, I'm not going to worry too much about naming, but this would be a D sus2 sus4 chord. We'll talk about naming in another video. But anyway, so that gives my second and fourth in there. And we can also put a second and fourth in, I think I played it a minute ago over here. We get a G on the open third string. And it's just like taking a C chord, and I shouldn't say it this way, it just looks like a C chord, it has nothing to do with C, but just taking it up 2 frets, and this is my D triad. I'm sorry, that's not my triad. That's my first and my third and another first, and I get my fourth here on the open third string. That's the G, and I get my second on the open E string. All right, so that's seconds and fourths, and find your own places to do this. I'm just trying to get the idea in your head, so you can use a little theory and find new voicings for these chords. All right, so sixths are going to be B notes. So let's try to find a place to put a fourth and a sixth in there. The fourth can be this open G, and I can put my sixth in there by picking up that one. So I get my D note first. I'm not going to go through all the notes, but this gives me my fourth and sixth in there together. I could also do this, put my fourth down where you're used to doing it, probably, and pick that up. And that gives me my B note sixth and my G note fourth here. Okay, so let's look at places where we can do a second and a sixth. Second is E, and the sixth is B. So I can pick both of these up. That gives me my second on the first string, and that gives me my B on the second string. Okay, is that all the combinations? There are other places to do it. I play more than what we just covered there. I can, sometimes I want to, instead of, I'm not a real big fan of the open B string in my D chord. I'm going to put it in there. I'll usually change the way I play it, and I'll throw it over here on the third string. I end up taking away that A note. This one sounds a little more melodic to me, so instead of doing this, I'll just go ahead, I won't worry about losing that fifth, and I'll just put that in there. If I want the fifth back in there, I can throw it over there. But then I lose the third, and we're getting too far into it. But I just want to get the idea in your head that and you can do that with any chord. Just find where those seconds, fourths, and sixths go together, and put them in there in combination, or singly. I mean, you're probably already doing it singly, but you know, when you put them in combination, you get really nice sounding full chords. So anyway, and don't worry too much about losing the. You know, you probably want to keep your root note in there, or a D note in there somewhere, if you're doing D. But don't worry too much about losing your fifth or your third. I mean, the whole idea is to color this note, or to color this chord. And if you have a D in there anywhere, whatever your root note is, it's gonna play nicely, and it's gonna make a nice voicing for the chord. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Thanks for tuning in for this practice tip. Tune in again tomorrow for another one, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.